All right. Hey, what's going on, guys? So, Brian Silva, this is Michael Haney. I'll be talking to him today and getting his opinion on Indoc and getting his opinion on everything else Indoc related. So, just real quick. Um, so, that's him. I'm just going to come back to him in a second. So, real quick, I just wanted to talk to you guys about this program that I'm doing right now. I wanted to make this video that I'm making for you guys as easy to view as possible. And I wanted you guys to be able to stay on track and stay with the agenda. So I'm going to be putting up names and the topics that we're talking about so that you can listen and read it while we're going through it. And you can find whatever spot you're at on YouTube. So I want to change the format up a little bit. And I think the quality on here is a little bit better. I know a lot of you guys are watching from YouTube or watching just after I'm done with the video. So I want to make it as good for you guys as possible. So that's why I'm using this app right now. But why I'm here today overall is to help you guys get through Indoc, or even if you're trying to get through a different selection, the mindset that you're using through Indoc is just as important when you're going through that selection course. So if you haven't checked out any of my other stuff, I have Instagram, I have obviously the Facebook, I have the YouTube going on. Sorry, I'm still just getting used to this stuff. All right, there it goes, right there. So if you guys like something, whatever content that you found, go ahead and like, subscribe, and then share with everyone else. My goal is to help you guys get through, like I said, and the more people that know about it, the more people can be helped by that. So if you're new to the channel, I'm Brian Silva, and I worked as a pararescueman for 12 years total. 3 of those years I was the head instructor at the indoctrination course, which is our selection course, and I wrote the lesson plan while I was there. So I'm still in the military right now. However, I am just going to PA school in the military. So that's why I have the opportunity to do this for you guys and help you out while I'm going to school. So if you have any comments or something that you guys want to know while we're going through this, you guys can't see all the comments. I'm going to pop up some of the questions that we have that are good, and we'll answer those as we're going along. So go ahead and drop a comment. It's coming through. I'm seeing some of the comments here already. I'll get them through whenever we get them through, and it'll pop up on the screen so everyone can read the comment, and then I'll answer the question, or Haney will answer the question. So throughout this video, we're going to be going over, first, we're going to talk to Haney, formerly Tech Sergeant Haney. He's now out of the military. He was just fresh at Indoc, actually like a couple weeks ago. So he's still currently in the military, but he's on his way out. And he's also going to be one of the cadre on my upcoming Indoc leader events. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity for you guys to pick his brain and then ask him some of the stuff that might be burning your head. And then also towards the end of this video, I'm going to get a little bit more personal with you guys and tell you guys a little bit about what's going on with me and why I haven't been doing videos as frequently as possible. So I'll tell you guys about that kind of stuff. And then also at the end, I'll answer all the specific questions that you guys have. All right. So just to get this out of the way, so everybody knows, I also sell online workouts for you guys. There's 2 right now available. Indoc Grad, which is for you. If you can pass the PAST, then you go ahead and do that one. It's made for you to graduate Indoc. And the other one that's a little bit easier is for you to pass the PAST. And that's straightforward. That's what the name is, and that's what it's for you guys to get through. Also, if you guys have questions after we're done with this that weren't answered on here, then you guys can always email me. Go ahead and click on my link on the website. It's Brian at howtobeapj.com. I'll be as straightforward as possible with everything that I tell you guys. I'm not a recruiter. I'm not trying to get you guys in the door for anything. No one's telling me I have to get any quotas or do anything like that. I'm literally just here to help you guys and make sure that you guys take the right steps forward and be successful in your careers. So let me introduce Michael Haney. He's been waiting patiently. to get up on here. I know he's got lots of other stuff to do. Busy dude. So let me just give you a little background on Michael real quick. So Michael and I were stationed in Nellis together for a couple years. We were on separate teams, so we didn't get to see each other very often. However, I was a supervisor the entire time. So it kind of sucked that I was a supervisor and I never actually got to see him the entire time because he was on deployment and then I'd come, or I'd go on deployment, then he'd come home or whatever, and we just missed each other the entire time. So he was my first supervisee, and we've pretty much just worked together since Vegas, and obviously at the schoolhouse. I was a supervisor again, so he had that pleasure, and I think by that time I was a little bit more mature in the way that I supervise people, so hopefully he ended up a little bit better for that. Oh yeah, and also he won PJ of the Year this year, so that's probably because of me. All right, so let me go ahead and introduce Michael Haney here. Boom, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend, with his facial hair already. He's ready to get out. All right, Michael Haney. So go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, units you've been to, all that kind of stuff.
Well, first, thanks for having me on, Brian. My name is Mike Haney, like you said, and I'm originally from Northeast Texas. I have been a PJ for 10 years. I'm just transitioning out of the military right now. I'm not nearly as busy as Brian said I was, but I keep myself employed, and I help Brian out whenever he asks me to come out and help out with his program.
Yeah, you keep yourself employed jiu-jitsu.
I was an Indoc instructor for 2 years, and it just came time for me to either re-enlist at 10 years or separate, and I chose to separate to pursue other job opportunities. I spent most of my active duty time at Nellis in Las Vegas. I spent 5 years there total. In those 5 years, I went on 5 deployments, and then I spent 3 years in training, a little bit longer than most. The pipeline wasn't completely ironed out at that time. So I had a lot of breaks between schools. I think I had 2 8-month breaks. And then my last 2 years were, like I said, at Indoc. And I'm just really enjoying the experience.
All right. So obviously we worked together for a long time. Let's start with the Indoc stuff, and then we'll get into like the rest of the PJ stuff and like what you liked about it, that kind of stuff. So I'm sure we'll get a couple questions on here afterward, but a few questions that always everyone gets a different answer for, and whatever motivates you is what motivates you. Hopefully it speaks to one of the people out there and helps them through it. But what really motivated you to become a PJ, and then once you were at Indoc, what did you do to stay motivated, and what got you through?
So my story is kind of non-standard. I was just at home working a carpentry job, construction, not getting paid very much. And I went to go see if there were any other opportunities out there. I was looking at the military, and I went and talked to an Air Force recruiter, and he found out that I swam from 6th grade till my freshman year in college. And he told me to start looking into PJ, and I was looking to get out of town really quick at that point because I was living with my parents and I wasn't doing very much, and I just needed a change. So I said, hey, sign me up for it. I'm good to go. I immediately took the pass test. He called me 2 days later and was like, can you leave today? I said, yes, I'm packing right now. And I left. And when I went through Indoc development course and all the other preparatory courses, they tend to go in phases. So we just got rid of a development course and we put BA prep in place of that. But when I went through, there was no preparatory course. You show up the first day and you start Indoc. And it was very difficult, but my training in swimming really cut out a large portion of the stress that is Indoc. because I was a very competitive swimmer, and pretty much at 10 or 11 o'clock every day, whenever we went to the pool for fin training or water confidence, my day was done. Like I didn't really have to worry about anything else. While other people were stressing out about like underwaters or like mask and snorkel procedures or anything with breath holding, that was never an issue for me because swimming was a key part of me growing up. And not just like, oh yeah, I went out to the lake and swam a little bit. Every single day training, and then most of the year training 2-a-days or with a club team. So it really, I would say that being a part of a aggressive competitive swim team is what helped me make it through. And not only the ability for swimming, but also just being competitive with everyone around me. Not so much that I'm like boasting or like being overtly competitive, but like looking at somebody doing push-ups and I'm always trying to do one more push-up. Looking at somebody doing pull-ups and I'm always trying to do one more pull-up. I'm always trying to be better than the person to my left and right. And that's what helped drive me through.
Did you do any other specific sports or like wrestling or track or cross country, any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I did. I did cross country shortly, and I would say that probably I did it for one season, and I was not very good at it at all. I was very slow, but it definitely, I would say that just like being by yourself, running your own race, being competitive with the people around you really helps. I think being competitive is one of the main points that I'd like to drive across.
Yeah, I think that was like you said, I tell a lot of people ask me like, I can't swim or I'm having difficulty swimming. I'm just not getting better at my times. I'm not doing, as good as I want to do. I think I also like fell in the same kind of boat. My parents were lucky enough to have a pool whenever we moved to Arizona, where I'm from. So we played like all summer splashing each other. And, that's one of the things that you get kind of, I don't know, inoculated with at Indoc is just constant splashing in your face. Like anytime that you're at the pool, a lot of people like when they first get to Indoc and you start getting splashed in the face, you start freaking out like, why is this person splashing me in the face? And I'm just sitting here like all I did was this little thing wrong or whatever. So anyways, just being comfortable in the water, not like necessarily having someone splash you in the face for, 10 hours a day, but being comfortable in the water enough to like, all right, this guy splashed me. It's just annoying. It's not like really going to affect me. I can breathe the entire time. You're getting used to like maybe choking on a little bit of water. I'm not saying to do it on purpose, but as you're like, doing stuff in the water, if you're in the ocean and you're boogie boarding or surfing or whatever, a lot of times you're going to eat it and you're going to swallow a little bit of water. I mean, but just doing stuff like that and being comfortable with like, all right, I'm being thrown around in the water by this wave. I'm going to come out of it in a second. So just hang tight or whatever. And then obviously putting in the laps and the distance, just like you said, is key. I mean, it's just like anything else. You got to put in the mileage to make yourself better and, get faster. So were there any times when you felt like you were struggling? Like I know you said you were good in the water and stuff like that, but like grass and gorillas or pull-ups, let's say.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm 6'3" and my wingspan's pretty high. So push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups were never an issue, but anything like upper body, you don't train very much for like weights and stuff in swimming. It's all just in the pool, grinding out workouts. So I did struggle a lot physically throughout I would say most of the training part of my career. I struggled physically because when I came in, again, there was no BA prep. There was no functional fitness. It was all just push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups. We did a little bit of weight training, but there wasn't a whole lot of weight training in there. So it took me until probably my first deployment to put on any real size. And that was just one of my good friends took me under his wing and we started lifting together. But I would say before that, being physical on land was always a big hurdle for me to overcome. Not so much anymore, but.
Well, so what are some of the things that you did to like overcome that. Obviously, like a lot of people are a little bit smaller, especially when you're young. Like you're not normally trying to get super jacked. You're 17, 18, 19 years old or whatever. Most of the people are skinny. You're not going to be huge by that time. So like, what are some of the things that you did to prepare? Like I'm sure you knew going in calisthenics was going to be one of your weak spots. So what did you do to help, mitigate?
So, because of the short timeline and me not honestly knowing that much about the career field before I jumped in head first, I had to do a lot of catch up at basic training. So, when I was at basic training, I would be doing push ups at night when everybody else went to bed. Me and another friend who actually graduated with me, we would go into the restroom and we would do push-ups and sit-ups, and then we would put our little basic training chair across two lockers and do pull-ups like that because it was, and I came in with the bare minimum calisthenics standard, which is something you do not want to do because it is highly stressful. Um, but I ended up graduating my first team because I put in the work when other people weren't willing to put in the work.
Yeah, and I think just like all the things that you said, and like it's not about like obviously you have to train, you have to like plan all this stuff out as much as you can because you don't want to get injured. But whenever you are at crunch time, just like he's saying, you really have to know your areas of weakness, especially if it's pull ups or push ups, and you have to stress on those things. And just doing those throughout the day, practicing good form. If you have the ability to practice good form, I mean, a lot of people, I'm sure, like in Mike's position, whenever he was first coming in, he didn't really know exactly what the standard was going to be, but go all the way down as much as you can, and then all the way up if you don't know for sure, because those half push-ups or whatever, that's not going to count at Indoc, and you're just going to end up, going in a different job for another couple of years, and then once you get your head on straight, then you can come back. So yeah, that was good. And then so anything else you want to impart on the guys about like Indoc type of stuff? We're going to just, after we're done with that, we're going to go into the kind of things that you saw for the future. I know there's a lot of talk about some of the stuff, but none of this stuff that we're going to say is solid. We're not the ones planning it anymore, but like some of the stuff that we know is going to happen because there's a lot of rumors and people are emailing me. But first, other stuff that you want to impart on people about the mindset that they should have going in Indoc, or things that they should think about and do before they end up going, whatever you got.
Like I said before, it's changed a little since I was experienced in Indoc and the light that a lot of your students are going to be currently experiencing Indoc. I see an issue with just how long they spend in student status. So like the 8 weeks at BA prep and then the 8 weeks at Indoc. That's a long time to be completely isolated from family, friends, other than the friends you make on team. So the people who end up not making it, most of the time the reason they give me or another instructor was that they just didn't want it anymore because it just took so long to get through. But the way that they're preparing you now, it's honestly working. Like the BA prep, it's doing a very good job of setting a standard and properly preparing students to go to Indoc. So just push through. It's definitely worth it on the other side.
Yeah, and a lot of guys, like you're saying, get caught up in that whole like, oh my gosh, I have another 16 weeks of this. And then after that, I'm still going to be treated like a student or whatever. Like, especially if you're a little bit older or you're in a managerial position or whatever, back home, whatever you were doing, a lot of people don't like being talked to like a student. Trust me. Yeah, I was there and I hate it too. But just like Mike's saying, like, you're only going to be doing that for a limited amount of time. Although it seems like a long time, you just take it day by day and then take the wins where you got them. And also, you're going to be building your own team. Really, that's where your team starts, because whenever you graduate from the pipeline and you get your berets, then you're going to go downrange with those guys that you went through Indoc with. Either like there will be like 3 degrees of separation between like yourself and then 3 teams ahead, 3 teams behind you or whatever. You're going to know all those guys and girls in the future, hopefully. So you're going to know all of them, and they're going to be all of your best friends because you're going to just know every single thing about it. Lived with each other in the same building for the past 2 years, and you've heard every single story and thing that people did, embarrassing, awesome, whatever it was. You heard every story about those people. So just enjoy that time while you got it. And just, I'm sure Mike will say the same thing. Every single PJ says the same thing. Like, pipeline is a blast. You're just living in a dorm. You don't have any responsibilities besides to learn that thing. All you have to do is go to school and learn that thing. It's most of the time, it's not even a difficult thing to learn. It's just, you just got to do it. That's it. So, yeah, thanks for that. It's good to hear. Same, everyone kind of feels the same about the pipeline and different things that you should train to. But so next thing, like you were talking about, stuff's changing over at Indoc, and stuff is changing. Indoc might even be going away. I know that might be a little bit further out, but since you're at the squadron more recently than I am, do you have anything that you think people should know, or updates, or any of that kind of stuff?
I think one thing that I'd like to put out is, just because BA Prep is doing a good job of preparing people for the selection courses, it doesn't mean that you should not put in your own work. Like, a big part of this career field is putting in your own work and pushing yourself. And I think it might set some students up for failure if we set up this whole training pipeline where nobody really has to be accountable for themselves. So before you come in, please put in the work, and you'll definitely be able to see the fruits of your labor when you show up to Indoc. It'll feel less stressful. Stress is what gets a lot of people. It's definitely, BA Prep is definitely doing a good job, but you have to put in the work yourself.
Yeah, and I think just to bounce off some of the stuff you said there, like I say, putting in the work all the time, every day, it should be a lifestyle for you. If you're trying to go to be a PJ, then you're going to work out like every day. If you're not working out, then you're doing stretches and foam rolling. It's something every single day to prepare your body mentally and physically for that. Even if you're not rolling out, then go to the pool. And just like I said, just spend time playing freaking water polo or doing whatever. Just get comfortable in the water, get comfortable doing whatever, go outside, hike up a mountain, do whatever you got to do to instill that mindset. Whenever you get to be a prep, it's awesome that they're doing that. And I think, just like Mike said, I haven't seen the full-on setup of BA Prep or anything like that, but if he's saying it helps, then it helps. So use that to refine your skills and everything that you've learned so far. Like, you can learn a couple of new techniques for rehabilitation so that you can prevent your injuries or whatever after you graduate, and that's awesome to refine your techniques. But you really need to make sure, like you said, to put in the time before you guys actually show up. And I don't even care if it's with my program. I want you, the future operators, Mike and I are not PJs right now, so you guys are the future, and I want you guys to be better and stronger than we ever were and prevent injuries. We both have our fair share of injuries that definitely could have been prevented. If we had, strengthened our shoulders, we wouldn't have had a dislocated shoulder, or if we would have strengthened our ankles, rolled out, been less tight on whatever kind of thing. That way, before we deadlift 300 or 400 pounds, we didn't, hurt our hamstrings or hurt our backs or do stupid stuff like that. So we want to give you guys the tools to not get injured like we did. So it's really important for you guys to pay attention to that stuff. And then also, you were talking about, so dev course is completely gone now, right?
The development course is completely gone. And as far as what Indoc is going to turn into, I can't really speak to that. I know the next course is going to be 8 weeks long. So that cuts a week off of what it was, because BA prep is going to pick up some of the development course type courses like nutrition and exercise physiology and stuff like that. But as far as what it could turn into, they're still on the drawing board, and it could be anything.
Yeah. I know that's kind of hard for like a lot of you guys to hear, but we're still kind of in contact with people that are actually rewriting that kind of lesson plan. Obviously, we're not going to give out every single thing until it's finalized, but we can give you as much information as they want to provide. But the thing is that the exercises at Indoc are not going to be completely changed or any of that kind of stuff. You're still going to be doing the same basic exercises, especially for right now for calisthenics and all that kind of stuff. It's still staying the same. Whenever they change and they actually implement those new standards, there is going to be a buffer time. It's not going to be like, all right, it's June, July, you're going to be expected to do this, boom, because that's just stupid. That doesn't make any sense. And the whole purpose of them changing things around is because they want more people to be successful and not less people to be successful. So if they're putting all this money into this kind of stuff, they're definitely going to make it so that more people have the opportunity to succeed and not less people. So if you're worried about that, don't worry about it. And if you're worried about it not being as difficult as it was whenever, Haney and I went through, then you're probably right. So we always got you. We always got you on that.
It's still going to be difficult. I know the people currently writing it, and it's going to be just as difficult. I think just the preparation phase, and I think we're going to start doing things. Well, I say weird. I think they're going to start doing things a little bit smarter. They're looking at data that we've been collecting for years and years and years, and we're finally going to do some really good stuff with that data.
Yeah, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on the channel before, but the data he's talking about, we were having iPads and a bunch of surveys, and people had what we call pucks. It's like a chest strap with the heart rate stuff. We've had those guys and a bunch of other people come by and take a bunch of statistics and a bunch of surveys on everybody that has succeeded, everybody that's failed, and all these nerds kind of came in and compiled all this data and kind of tried to make a good product out of it. And they're people that really want to help make this program, as far as Indoc, great, and they want it to be a top-notch type of selection course. So we definitely got to help those guys, and we know a little bit of the workings of that. But the end result, I'm sure it's still going to be ongoing, collecting data, especially as they're transitioning into these new types of courses, stuff like that. They're going to have to collect more data, so you can expect that. But they probably won't release the results of that except for to like the cadre and stuff like that. So, do we got anything else for changes to Indoc or other stuff that people should expect on the horizon?
Not really. The core exercises and as far as like calisthenics and preparing you for dive school, that's all still going to be there. So even though the course may look a little different, a lot of the core of the course is still going to be there.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the insight. All right. So next thing on the agenda. So obviously we have the event coming up. So we did the first one a couple months ago. Haney was out there with me for that as well. That's when he was real fresh out of Indoc. But the event coming up is going to be a 2-day event rather than a 1-day event, just due to the feedback that we got. I didn't want to make the first one. We only had 1 day. I didn't want to make the first one too difficult and too much like Indoc, so like that people couldn't achieve anything over there. So the first day of this next one coming up is going to be like day one of the last one. So we're going to go over techniques on rucking, on training aids, which training aids are the log. I might have some of those kind of stuff out there for you guys. I think it's important to add that in and make sure that you guys are working together as a team, and you can see that aspect and see how much it really adds as far as you guys working together and the suck factor also. So in addition to that, swimming, obviously Haney's an expert on the swimming right there, college level swimmer. One of the many benefits that having him around adds. And then also underwater techniques. We're going to go over all the underwater type of stuff, 25 meters, and then mask and snorkel, buddy breathing, and then a couple other stuff that we're going to throw in there just to test you guys and make sure that you're on par as to what you should be training to. So first day, like I said, just training mostly, and we're going to show you guys like that kind of stuff, drops a little bit, not really. Second day, you can expect it to be like a normal day at Indoc. It's going to be pretty much a kick in the balls, and we are really planning on you guys like really feeling it whenever in the morning and on the land events, and then especially on the water as they're getting used to like buddy breathing with Haney and I, and doing mask and snorkel with us, and doing the underwaters and doing all that stuff. It's definitely going to test you guys and those that come out for sure. So we got a lot of good feedback on the last event. And I think that the reason why I set this up, just like all the other programs that I set up, is because I really see a benefit in seeing a person face to face and me yelling in your face or Haney yelling in your face, and you can feel like my breath down your throat, down your back of your neck, and you're just like, shivering a little bit, or you're just either trying to do some little easy task that is normally easy, but if you have Haney and I yelling at you to do this, your team's depending on you, your team's dropped or whatever, like stuff like that, you're feeling the pressure of us just over your shoulder the entire time and checking every single thing that you do. I think there's added benefits to that, and it shows you attention to detail and exactly what it's going to be like. So I know Haney has a couple things. He's helped me come up with this whole lesson plan and the training aids and the areas that we're going to be going to and stuff like that. So he's helping me plan all the stuff. So what kind of things do you think are the most important as far as like going to an event like this before you go to Indoc and kind of seeing this kind of stuff?
I would say there are a couple benefits to go into a course like this. The first one would be obviously just the stress inoculation. Like even when you guys go to basic, it's not the same type of stress, because in basic there are no like real consequences. Like your body's not going to be suffering because you messed something up in basic. But at Indoc, it's a completely different story. Like your team is counting on you to prepare appropriately. Your team's counting on you not to be the weak link, because when you're the weak link, you're pulling your feet in during flutter kicks, let's say, and then your entire team has to sit there and suffer because you're the one who wasn't prepared for the course. So stress inoculation, and also going to Brian's course, I think the added benefit is a lot of people don't really see there's nothing really to reference how hard you're working. So you could be training every day. You could think that you're killing it and that you're doing yourself a service. And then you show up to Indoc and you're like, wow, I mean, I don't know how many times you've heard this, Brian, but like, I didn't know what I was getting into. I wasn't prepared for this. Because these kids, they work their butts off, and to them, they're working really hard, but they're not training in the appropriate areas, the areas that they're weakest at, which this course tends to highlight. And yeah, so it's definitely an added benefit before going, because then it really shows you how hard you have to work to be successful at the course.
Yeah, and I think like not only that, but just the technique wise, as far as you think that you're doing your mask and snorkel because you saw a video wherever you saw a video, and like you think you got it down. But then every time I see a guy, like improper send over and over and over again, like, or the sequence was incorrect. Your mask strap is twisted. You forgot to check your mask strap before you enter the water. You forgot to do whatever. And I think showing people these habits before they end up going to Indoc, most of the people have plenty of time before they end up going into basic training or whatever. The procedures are not going to change whenever you get to Indoc. So you can expect to enter the water the same way, because I know that the rest of the courses are going to adopt the way that the PJ Indoc course, enter the water and do all that kind of stuff. There's a specific way to do every single thing that we do, and it's pretty much going to be 99% the same whenever you actually get there. So practicing those things, setting up your gear every time you go to the pool, just being meticulous about everything that you do is going to save your butt and your team's butt whenever you actually get there. And the reason why I called it the Indoc leader is because the people that go through this course, I'm going to give you, and Haney's going to give you all the knowledge that he has about Indoc, period. We're not trying to hide anything from anybody. We're trying to make you successful in that way. Whenever you actually get to Indoc, you're going to be a top performer, and you're not going to gloat about it. You're going to be a silent professional about it, and then you're going to help everyone else. Like, all right, guys, this is why I was successful today at Mask and Snorkel. You got to do this, or if you can't do this, then try this. We're going to give you whatever techniques. Him and I have different techniques for different stuff, and if one works for you, great. If the other one does, then I don't care. Whoever's technique works the best, that's what we want you guys to take away from it, and we want you guys to be successful just by using those things. So like I said, we're going to pull out every tool that we possibly have to help you guys, and you'll definitely see some instructor mode. I know I'm a pretty soft-spoken guy for the most part. I'm not a person that seems like they can yell or anything like that, but when it comes to instructor time and I turn up some of the volume, then I don't know, it feels like a different person comes out and my voice just gets a lot deeper, and then it just, I don't know. But it's fun though. I like doing it. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be doing it because I like doing it. So, yeah, I think all those things, good reasons to join, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to try and get you guys, we're going to have a group for everybody that's going to be at the event to join, so that we can get hopefully similar area of lodging, get similar everything, we eat together, just do everything like we do at Indoc, so you guys can be a team and work together on every single thing. And there's going to be tasks overnight and stuff that we need you guys to do to prepare for the next day, each day, and then in the morning, every single thing. So it's going to be constantly learning, constantly on, and constantly, hopefully not constantly getting smoked, but there's going to be a lot of that. So that's kind of what you can expect from the course. I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait for that stuff. So next thing, Snapchat. So Haney is really good at Snapchat. I have Snapchat, but I'm not super good at it. I'm not saying that I'm super old. I try, I do it sometimes, but I'm trying to stay on this and trying to stay on the Instagram and that kind of stuff. So if you guys want to add Haney at Snapchat, your Snapchat was what again?
Dirty Mike 475.
Yeah. Dirty Mike 475. I know there's a way to do this thing on here. Let me put that up here. Here we go. All right, so yeah, go ahead and add him on there and send him whatever you want to send me.
Not whatever you want to send me.
All right. If you have questions about the event, or if you have questions about Indoc or whatever, and I gave you a stupid answer or you didn't like my answer, then go ahead and, add him on there. And there you go. There it is. So, yeah, message him on there. All right. Let's see. So we'll just go to questions now, and I'll try and throw up all the questions that are up in the comments here. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, if you guys didn't know, this whole video is going to be added to YouTube after we're done. That's why I like this format better, is because on the Instagram it was only showing that little vertical screen rather than the whole horizontal screen. So I think we get better audio, video here, and everything like that. So all this is going to be saved to YouTube after we're done. My channel, How to Be a PJ. All right, let's see. So yes, we already answered that on most of the videos. So prior service, do you have any anything on prior service guys going to BA prep? Are they going to be going there anytime soon? Crows or any of that kind of stuff? Have you heard anything?
As far as I experienced, and I was a part of the enlisted phase 2 a couple of times. I actually, the one before last, I actually set up and ran. As far as I know, and this is as recent as a few months ago, our cross trainees do not go through BA prep. You've been in the Air Force for a while. You're expected to be more proactive with your research on what Indoc is. I don't know if there's a plan for cross trainees to start going to BA prep. I doubt it, just because honestly, you've been in for a while and it's your responsibility to put forth the work. And come into a course like Brian's it'll help you out a lot. We have a lot of insight into what Indoc instructors are looking for as far as leadership. And it's nothing cosmic. It's just little things that guys miss, that they don't really understand what they should be doing. And the students do not go through wing development first. So once you go through the assessment phase, you go back to your unit with a letter that says you've been accepted. And when your class date is, you show up day 1 of your class date, you take the pass test, and then you start. Depending on how you do on the pass test, if you fail the pass test, depending on how strong a candidate you were, then the commandant might choose to set you back and put you in wing development, but it's completely up to him. And the commandant is probably about to change, and with change in leadership can come changes in the way that they handle setback students. When I went through, the commandant, he basically came through with a hatchet and was like, "You're eliminated, you're eliminated, you're eliminated." He had no setbacks. Recently,
go ahead.
A little bit more setbacks than we're normally used to, because wing development has been helping people out a lot and getting their numbers where they should be. But wing development, it's not a guarantee at all.
Yeah, so what he's saying, commandant, that's the role of the person that decides. He's the course chief, which means that he's not in charge specifically of the lesson plans, but he is in charge of accountability of the students, basically. So anybody that goes in and out of his course, then he has to know about it. And if he has an overall decision to set you guys back, eliminate you, or whatever. So that's his overall decision. When I was going through, I never got set back, but there were people that have been set back like 3 or 4 different teams because they're good guys. And the commandant was willing to give their personalities a chance because, he thought they could persevere. And most of them actually did make it through Indoc, but they ended up screwing up later on because they were, I guess, too likable guys. They ended up partying, ended up getting DUIs or doing dumb stuff like that. So don't get caught up like that. But, goal is to make it through your first time anyway. So don't try and be set back. You don't want to be mopping the mats for 8 hours a day or whatever. So talking about that stuff, you were talking about people going from basic training, or not basic training, sorry. Cross trainees take a pass the first day. So what about the rest of the people that are coming from basic training? How often are they taking the pass test?
As far as how often they're taking the pass test and BA prep, I don't know.
Like for it to count.
What's up?
Like for it to count for elimination, like.
Oh, the last word I got was that they're going to start doing the pass test in like at the very end of BA prep to go to your course of initial entry. So you're going to have 8 weeks to train with world-class trainers. And then at the end of that, you take your pass test, and that's whether or not you go to your course or not.
So that would be like the entire BA prep, like TAC-P, CCT, and everybody testing together.
That is everyone.
Okay.
And again, with how everything's changing, I don't know if that's going to change at all, but traditionally before BA prep, the first day of Indoc was like your pass test, and from there it was decided whether or not you were either eliminated, set back, or going to start team. So each course ran their own pass test.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's cool. I think just the ability to see other career fields, at least interact with them. That way, it's not just like the CCT guys over there and then the PJs over there. So that's a cool aspect of that, being able to talk to each other. But I think some people are concerned about like losing a little bit of the difficulty and all that stuff. I guess we'll just have to see whenever you guys end up going there. Keep in touch with me and keep me updated. I'm going to talk to the instructors that are down there and see their side of it. But obviously the people that are doing it are the students. So if you guys continue to go through those courses and stuff, don't worry about it losing its luster or whatever. People aren't going to think less of you as a PJ or a CCT or whatever. But, just take it for what it is, prepare for the worst. And then, if it's not as difficult as you thought it was going to be, then awesome. You're still going to be a controller. You're still going to do the mission. So it's very important for you guys to be prepared either way. All right. So this is a kind of an interesting question. So this guy says, do you think crows do better going through the pipeline straight after commissioning, or should they get a few years under their belt? What do you think?
I honestly, with more experience, you tend to get a better leader. Like, we get a lot of crows right out of the gate, right out of school, and they haven't really experienced any large amount of leadership yet. Is that a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing. It's just they just have to adapt a little bit quicker because you're getting paid more. You are a lieutenant and you're expected to lead in some capacity. Again, like, you're not commanding a battle space. You're leading a team of at max 69 students, and that is the maximum. It's usually not around 69 students at all. I don't think it was ever the max class load while I was there in the past 2 years. It's normally around 40.
Just before you got there, we had 118. But that was the last big class that we had, like, just before you got there, literally.
So as far as I definitely see like your 03 and above perform better as far as leadership goes, but that's only because they have the time under their belt. So if you start out and you go through Indoc and you pass Indoc and you become an 03 later on in your career field, you'll probably be at the exact same experience level. And you'll probably be a little bit better leader than the peers coming in at 03. So it's a time in a leadership position that really builds that experience. So to say that an 01 doesn't do as well as an 03, I don't know. It's kind of it's hard to judge because they're not the same at all.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a weird question to ask because on one hand, you want guys that you can mold and you can like make into the leader that you want them to be. But right out the gate, from what I've seen, anyone who's a captain is mostly more squared away than those that are just lieutenants, because the butter bars or whatever, they usually end up just being one of the airmen. A lot of times, unless they have somebody that they've shadowed like before they join the military, and somebody that like would show them how to be an officer. A lot of times I saw, butter bars or, O1s end up just being another airman. They didn't talk the entire time. They didn't know how to lead. They didn't know how to speak up. They didn't want to speak up. They were just used to being a student because that's what they were in, OTS or whatever other course they had been to before. So it is helpful for those who have a little bit of experience in other career fields and have seen people lead and stuff like that, especially to help guys get through. I remember there were a couple guys that really were awesome leaders, and some of them actually didn't end up making it because injuries or whatever, but they were really awesome leaders that I wish would have made it. Have they never quit, but it's just circumstances type of thing. And then there are lieutenants that just I didn't think were ready to, lead a 6-man team, let alone like a 69-man team. But obviously, it's Indoc, and we're not sitting here like this is our only example of your leadership at that point, and you're brand new, so no one's going to be like, oh, that guy's going to be a terrible leader for the rest of his career. Obviously, there's stuff to learn and ways to grow. So don't base your decision whether or not to join now versus later based on you being the best leader at Indoc. If you know what I'm saying. Like it's a practice run anyway, and I want do what's best for you and your career. If you whatever that plan is. The instructors will do their best to mold you and make you into the leader that you're supposed to be or that they want you to be, as far as like a combat leader type of thing. So I don't know. There's a give and take kind of thing. Not one answer is the best answer. So it's kind of my take on that.
And I would like to throw in too that even though most lieutenants do end up being airmen, that's not acceptable. Those guys have a really, really bad time at Indoc when they just try to be gray and blend in. Like, you're getting paid to be a leader. You're wearing the bars. We expect you to be a leader. So just like all these other airmen are preparing, doing sit-ups, pull-ups, push-ups, swimming, if you're coming in to be a crow or a stow, you need to be preparing by doing research, by studying up on how to be a good leader, to maybe leading some things while you're going through school, stepping up and essentially strengthening your leadership muscle, because it's not just going to happen by itself. You're going to have to put forth that effort.
Yep. Anybody above basically an A1C is going to be expected to put in some kind of leadership capacity. Gear guy, cartoonist, whatever, just like little tasks, but you're going to be expected to do something other than just your job, like just get through Indoc. So yeah, good point on that. This guy, is the grad standard drown proofing eval timed event, or is it based off of completion? Honestly, guys, I think drown proofing, it's not something that people normally fail. As long as
very easy.
Very seldomly do people fail. It's just one of those things that looks tough and sounds tough. Whenever you hear the video or hear about it, you're like, your hands are bound, your feet are bound, you're in 12-foot pool. It's just you pushing off a pool, breathing, and letting yourself back down. That's all it is. And then at the end, you're going to grab a mask, which is the hardest part. But either way, drown proofing is not a timed event. You can go as slow as you want. The only thing that people are going to do is yell at you. The only restriction on it really is whenever you're doing your bobs, you only have a certain amount of attempts before you fail. So if you're doing a backflip, front flip while you're doing your bobs, then you only have a certain amount of attempts before you fail that, and then you just do it again. But no time specifically is involved. Got anything on that?
And honestly, by the time you get to the point where you're drown proofing, like you've already been through a couple alternate water cons, and drown proofing is just kind of like a joke.
Yep.
There's some technique things that we have to work on with people, like dolphin kicking, but that's really it. And I think in the 2 years, I've only seen one person fail for drown proofing. And he was the worst in the water. The absolute worst.
He's probably pretty close to failing at everything.
Yes, he was.
All right. Next one. So, any moments of weakness or adversity throughout the rest of your career, like as a PJ, times when it really got tough, or like, something that people can expect that maybe they don't hear about. I'm sure, like, you see all the commercials, it's not science fiction, whatever. But there are times when stuff gets real and you're just like, crap, this sucks right now or something.
Yeah, there have been plenty of those times between. I mean, for a long time, Indoc was the hardest thing that I had gone through, but I definitely went through a lot tougher situations as a active duty deployed pararescueman. I remember times where I didn't bring a jacket and we had to fly and at night in Iraq, and it was miserably cold. Like, my bones hurt when we got done with that flight. And that was probably, but like, you can't quit in those situations. So it doesn't really matter. You just have to suffer through it. And I remember going on deployed very, very long rucks where people are just dropping out left and right. And we have to air evac people because we're covering such a large distance. And yeah, there are some, I mean, I don't want to go into too many specifics about deployed situations, but it is like there are definitely a lot of physical strains that come along with the job, and also a lot of mental strains that come along with the job too. Obviously, just handling people who have been injured can be difficult too, but the pipeline, I feel like, prepares you very well to handle all of that.
Yeah, and the thing about like the pipeline and all the training that we do, I mean, we don't always have like, this is the mission that you're always going to do or whatever, and it's never ever going to be the same, no matter like how many times you practice it in training or practice it at wherever you're going. There's always going to be some variable that you're like, oh crap, how do we get around this thing or whatever. So I think you can definitely expect tough times, and it's not just the tough times in like rucking or physical pain or people that maybe passing out or whatever, couldn't keep up on that kind of stuff. I think a lot of it is too whenever you're gone. I mean, you're gone away from your family, you're gone away from your kids and that kind of stuff, and that is a lot more taxing to some guys than other guys. So obviously everyone has different thresholds for everything that everyone does or whatever. So some people might be physical beasts, but then they miss their cat at home and they're just like, I want to see more pictures of them. They like have your friend back at home send you cat videos of your cat or whatever, and then they show you like, oh sweet, nice, your cat's like scratching your friend's head or whatever, or he took a shit and then the Roomba went around your house and smeared it everywhere. Whatever. But everyone has different thresholds and stuff like that, and there are definitely times when it's going to suck more than it did at Indoc. But it's a good place to reach back and like think about all the things that you've been through, the times when it really sucked, when you felt like you were going to pass out or whatever. Haney never felt like that because he is a fish in the water. But for the rest of us mere mortals, you got to that point of like, this really sucks. I want to breathe, and I just want to breathe. I don't want to hold my breath or whatever. But you push through it, and at the end you're stronger and you're more mentally resilient. So let's see. This one kind of gets asked a lot, but I'll just let you answer that since I usually answer that one. Is it more common for PJs to deploy with a team of PJs or attached to like a SEAL team or Rangers or that kind of stuff?
Honestly, it just depends what unit you're at. Like a special tactics unit you're going to be going out onesie twosies, farmed out to different teams. And then on the rescue side, you're going to deploy as a large element, 12-man team. So there's possibilities to get to either side. So there are two different like sides of pararescue: the special tactics side and the air combat command side. So I would say it's probably more common just because the units are larger to be deployed in a large pararescue team.
Cool. And then if I've answered that question well, so if you guys want to go back and watch other videos, then you can see what I say. All right. I get this one a lot too. I just want to see what you, if you have any other different stuff.
I would say wait to retrain until you can get in the pool and work on your pool. Like if you show up to Indoc without working on pool, you're not going to make it. I mean, you definitely could gut through it, but the probability is slim. You have to be good in the water or it's going to crush you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, stress over and over again. A lot of people will ask me this question, like, I don't have a pool around me because I live in whatever, Alabama or wherever like people live. But there is no substitute. Dig a freaking hole in your backyard, line it with some plastic. You know, some of those little like towns where there's 100 people or something like that. Anyways, find a tractor, a backhoe, or whatever you got to do, and dig a hole in the ground. Make a pool. Do something. You got to get in the water, no matter what. Play by the lake or do something. Just let me just yes, civilians can take my course. I just want to say that. And then also for you guys that are asking, again, this is going to be posted onto YouTube after we're done here. So you guys can watch it again, you know, say whatever parts you want or whatever. So you can go back. Let's see. Anyone? I guess it got a little glitchy there for a second. All right. So I think we'll just go to some of these other questions that you guys put on comments for Instagram, and then we'll be done. Weight training that's involved during Indoc. This is from Kant_Josh_this. Weight training that's involved in Indoc. That's all he asked. You guys changing any curriculum for Indoc as far as weight training?
Not that I've seen. Like when I was there, it was still the same course. So I don't see functional fitness going away because there's such a large push for human performance initiative across not only Air Education Training Command, but also the units. So the Air Combat Command, there's a huge push for people to be smarter about how they're lifting. And I think that knowledge starts at BA Prep and Indoc. So I don't see any weight training going away. It's definitely more geared towards lighter weight, higher repetitions rather than heavy weight, just because the training days are so long and physically intensive that you can't afford to be stressing your system, doing heavy deadlifts, heavy power cleans, like large amount of weighted pull-ups. So it's going to be on the lighter side as far as weights, and instructors are going to be going around critiquing your form, and it's going to be a lifting workout paired with cardio.
All right. So I scrolled up. Again, we're just getting used to this program. I'm getting, kind of used to this whole format right here. Obviously, practiced a little bit, but I didn't get to do a bunch of comments on here. But I scrolled up, and all the rest of the comments are right there. There are a lot of questions. Can you see those, Mike? Or
yeah,
if you scroll all the way up, if there's any that you specifically want to do, just let me know their name, and I'll put their question on the screen. But I'll answer some of these while you're scrolling through, because I think some of these are geared specifically towards you, but I'll answer some of these. So first one, as far as negative experiences with other soft units, I think there are definitely negative experiences with every soft unit, every unit that you work with, because guys do things differently, and some areas might be skipped over where you might have more emphasis in some of the places that you've worked. But I think a lot of times with planning, that was a big thing for some of the teams that I worked with. I'm not going to say which ones or anything like that, but some of the teams that I work with, they just didn't plan as well as I think they should have, and the way that they went about that kind of stuff. But obviously, they're good at the things that they always practice, which are like shooting and that kind of stuff. And then it's always kind of like just butt sniffing type of competition whenever you get to a new soft unit or a new team or whatever, and you're the lone Air Force guy, and they're just like, "Oh, who's that guy? Like, can he shoot though? Or I bet he can't. Like, look at his med bag; it's all like different." Or like everyone's trying to test you and think like, "All right, PJ, get over here, get on this guy, whatever." So you gotta every single time that you do something, you gotta prove your worth. And most of the guys are just like all the PJs and stuff like that. Like they're cool once they get to know you. Then you go sit on the couch and watch whatever show together until you get called or whatever. But it's that initial point in time, like couple days where you're just like kind of weird. So, you got anything on that?
Yeah, I've experienced the same thing. They're like if you were to go work a civilian job, there are going to be people that you click with, and there are going to be people that you can't like everybody. I'm a pretty agreeable person, but there are some people that I've worked with that I don't really ever care to work with ever again. And that could be across any spectrum within the pararescue career field or with other soft units. So it's just, I don't know, it's just how your personality meshes with other people. And honestly, that's a big part of our job, is being able to interface with other units, because we are the lone one providing them a type of support in a support role. So you have to be an agreeable person who can go hang out with a whole bunch of other people that you don't know, and you have to befriend them so that you can get the mission done.
Yep. So while you were scrolling through, did you see any specific questions that you wanted to hit up?
Yeah, I'd like to address David Bosarge. He said he's leaving for basic on June 26th.
Put it up there.
Contract. All right. So I think that what you should be working on before you leave is freestyle swimming, treading, and breaststroke. I think that's going to give you the most bang for your buck before you leave. Freestyle, you do it everywhere in the pool, and it needs to be something that isn't difficult. So a lot of people, they'll be freestyling and they get tired out really easy. It shouldn't be something that tires you out. You should honestly be able to slightly recover while you're freestyling. And that's the difference between being a good swimmer and being a poor swimmer, is knowing how to conserve that energy while you're swimming. Treading and hip mobility is huge. Before we do most events, you have to tread in some capacity before you go down and accomplish a task underwater. So I think treading would be a good thing to focus on, freestyle swimming, and then obviously breaststroke for your underwater stuff, because you do things like underwaters, mask and snorkel. And being effective in that will take a lot of stress off of you.
Yeah, I think just like I said, over and over again, put the miles in, and the breaststroke. Yeah, you're going to be doing the keyhole stroke and a bunch of different strokes at Indoc, and you don't need to exactly mimic them. But if you got the breaststroke down, then just like you said,
it has a lot of the same components that the keyhole stroke does, but without the risk of doing underwaters alone. And I would like to caveat that with, you should never do underwaters alone without some kind of person who's there who is CPR certified. I feel like every 2 years we get a report from somebody who is trying to do underwaters, training up for some type of program, and they end up passing away because nobody was there. So make sure when you're training smartly.
please have a lifeguard. And then if you have a lifeguard, just be like, hey, can you watch me? Like, don't fall asleep, please. If you see them on their phones or whatever, and just say, hey, can you just watch me while I'm doing this stuff? Whatever. It's that easy. Just be smart and be safe. This is a follow up to your being cold type of thing. Just asking about if you can expect to be cold at Indoc.
Um, it depends what month you go through. Like obviously, there's summer and winter teams, and here in Texas, it doesn't get that cold. It's not like I think it snowed here the first time in like 10 years this year. But the water temperature, in depending on which pool you're in, it sits at anywhere between I think 83 and 86 degrees. So your body temperature is obviously going to drop and you're going to get a little cold. But I've never seen somebody get out of the water and quit because it was that cold. It's never like that miserably cold.
Yeah.
It's not like buds.
The coldest part that we ever, it's not like buds. We're not going to sit there and whatever, have you guys freeze most of the time. The only team that is really cold, and like you said, is going to be if you're on balls two. The teams are called 002 or 005 or whatever, with the year as a prefix. So it's just called balls two. That's usually the coldest team of the year, and it's only for January. Or January, February. So it's not that bad. So let's see. Anything else that you want to address while we're still on here? So I think if we don't have anything else, we'll cover some of the questions about the event that's coming up that people will have on here, unless you have something else.
I'll address one more from Luke Heffron. Any tips on quickening your 500-meter freestyle time?
Okay.
I would say if you have a local swim team, like a local high school or club team around you, I'd recommend that you join it because you're going to have a real-time coach sitting next to you being able to give you tips. Even if you're doing Brian's swim workout, just being in the vicinity and being able to ping questions off of a swim coach will be beneficial for you.
Yeah, definitely have somebody. If you're not even like, if you're doing one of my workout programs, I know a lot of people on here are doing a workout program, and you're not getting a video or whatever, or you're just doing it on your own and not videotaping yourself. Even if you don't want everyone else to see you, videotape yourself and watch it. But if you're okay with other people seeing you and you're doing one of my workout programs, take a video and then post it up on the group, and then we'll critique you and help you guys out. It's not about like you look ridiculous doing it or whatever. Like, we're trying to make each other better. So don't be scared to, even if you have a swim coach, whatever, videotape yourself and then ask them like, hey, can you just, what am I doing wrong here? And then people are more than willing to help you out. Okay, one more thing, just because you said you set up the phase 2 stuff, and I think some people should know a little bit what to expect from phase 2 as far as enlisted phase 2, and then we'll get to the Indoc leader event type of stuff, and we'll call it a wrap.
Oh, look it up. It's Landeros. Hey, buddy. Yeah, the leadership does play a large role. It's not the only role. Obviously, we like to see physicality out of our students. So I would say that the three things that I look for the most is whether or not I can shake somebody with stress, how prepared they were when they showed up, and how is their leadership. Those are the three things that I was looking at. And obviously, because you've been to Indoc before, you know exactly what to expect as far as physicality, physical standards, what push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups should look like. So that shouldn't be any surprise. So definitely, I think more so for people who have been to Indoc before, Like, it should be something that you make a point at showing that you have improved a lot. Because, I mean, we're going to get your student record, and we're going to review that student record before you ever show up.
And so I think obviously people kind of know how to train a little bit now, especially if they're doing the program. They know how to train for the physical part. A lot of guys are asking me like, all right, we have to do a board there, or like, how does the board go? Because I heard a bunch of guys get set back on the board and they might get asked for an invite back or whatever. So what, like, speaking tips, or what exactly is the cadre kind of looking for whenever you see a dude up there on the board or whatever, and he's getting grilled with questions one after the other or whatever?
Honestly, the board is it's to assess why you're there, like what's your motivation for joining the career field, whether or not it's a selfish reason or if it's a non-selfish reason. Your humility and trying to figure out how you react to someone grilling you, because some people take very defensive postures and tend to get a little snappy, and that can play into it. But a large part of the board is just going to be discussing how we thought you did, and then you talking to us about how you thought you did, and seeing if the picture lines up. There's not going to be, I mean, we're not quizzing you on like Air Force knowledge. It's over a week assessment, and just seeing what you did to prepare, especially, again, if you had been to Indoc, you knew what was coming, what you did to prepare, whether or not you're giving us excuses, because we get a lot of excuses, and just being upfront and honest. That's what we're looking for. Somebody with integrity who's upfront and honest, who prepared.
Yeah, and the other thing is that we've all been to SEER and stuff like that. Like, some of the board members, not to be like, we're not going to pry into your personal life or anything like that too much, but we're going to know some stuff about you before you end up coming to get assessed or whatever. So if they ask back to other stuff that might bother you, or if they ask you, like, even if you're at the phase 2 and you're kind of like showing that you were a little bit timid or scared about certain things, a lot of the instructors pick up on that, because at least in the Crow phase 2, the Crows had two other Crows, the Crow candidates had two other Crows shadowing them and then writing notes about every single thing that they did. So throughout the day, they had a whole couple pages of like, during this event, this guy did this, or during this event, this guy did that, or he failed to do this. Like, tiny little things, like his snorkel was 1 inch apart from the whatever. Like, every single thing is looked at and scrutinized, and you need to be confident, and you need to have a justification for every single thing that you do. Like, even if you didn't mean to do it or whatever, just be confident in yourself and show that you can speak well, articulately, and are able to answer their questions directly, not bounce around and be like, well, I could have, but I was trying to, and I didn't, but I, like, just say, "Yeah, Sergeant, I messed this up because of this. It won't happen again." That's it. Just be straightforward and honest. It's the most important thing.
And be honest about not messing it up again.
Yeah.
If you're going to tell me that you're not going to mess it up again, you better not mess it up again.
Yep. All right, let's get into some of this Indoc leader stuff. Oh, I got to show this again. Again, if you want to add him on Snapchat, Dirty Mike. So we're going to talk about some of the Indoc leader stuff real quick. There's a couple questions. So he's asking, he hasn't done any of the other two programs. So he's able to pass minimum pass, able to improve score, or wants to improve scores. And he's asking if he could attend the event. So yeah, the minimum is you can pass the pass. You can expect that even if you're in amazing shape, you're going to be smoked by the time that the event's finished. We're going to make you into a freaking machine. If you're in really awesome shape, then you're you're still gonna feel the pain. So for you to not be in as good a shape, obviously I recommend you being in as good a shape as possible, because your weak areas are going to be identified whenever you show up day one, just when we're practicing. But you don't want to be that guy that is a little bit further behind. If you are, obviously that's just the way it is, but it'll show your weakness in that area as well. So, Mike, do you have anything on that?
No. And if you are like if you show up and you're a little bit behind the other candidates, it's nothing to like be demoralized about. Like honestly, we're just gonna have to flex so that you get the most out of the training. I'm coming up with like a list of alternate exercises, and I do this too whenever I'm working out. Like if I'm doing like a cardio circuit with weights, I always have like a second set of lighter weights so that when I'm done with the heavier weights, I could just switch to the lighter weights and do like a burnout set. So we're going to have things like that incorporated into the program, so that even because everybody's going to show up at a different level. So people are going to need to break down into these secondary type exercises to get the full benefit and to be able to like stick together as a team, if that makes sense. So if you are a little bit behind and you're considering whether or not to do it, I would say probably do it, show up, and not that, let me caveat that real quick. You should not do this if you have not prepared at all, because then it's going to become a burden to the team. So make sure you've prepared, and if you feel like you're ready and you could give it a go, don't second guess yourself. Show up, do the program, and we'll make you better. And your goal of the program is to pretty much show you where you're weak at so that you can go back, retrain those areas. We can give you critiques and pointers if you are strong in certain areas to help you excel, so that you can, the end goal is to be successful at Indoc.
Yep. And like you said, I don't want anybody getting injured, and that's why I want somebody to actually be in shape. I don't want anybody, because you're going to be carrying logs, you're going to be getting your ruck, you're going to be doing a lot of different stuff like that. So don't come unprepared. I don't want anybody getting injured. This is the whole point of it is to make you stronger and just identify weak areas. So there's another one down here. So pricing and all that kind of stuff. We're still working on that. Tentative dates right now are 18th and 19th, which is Saturday and Sunday of August. Again, I can only do these type of things whenever I'm in between semesters, because my school load right now is astronomical, and I'm not able to do it any other time. So the next one is August 18th, 19th. And then after that, it's not going to be again until December, Christmas-ish time frame. So just every couple months, 16 weeks actually to be precise, you can expect that. So correction on this Snapchat for Michael here. His Snapchat is for, I don't know why I got the other one. So this is a Snapchat right here. Correct?
It's not showing up.
Oh, it should show up in a second. Hopefully it's on the video or something. It's showing that it's showing. So, all right. Other stuff on here. Yeah, so that's it for the event. I hope to see you guys out there. I'm going to be putting out more information on Instagram, and I'll probably do another couple solo YouTube videos that are just informational about how to like ruck, how to do some of the water con stuff. I'll have Mike probably help me out with some of the swim videos and stuff like that. But the Indoc Leader event is going to be a lot of fun. We have homework for you guys to do, those that sign up, stuff for you guys to do before you show up, and stuff for you guys to be ready for day one so that you are functioning as a team. Like I said, we're going to have a group so you guys can talk to each other and set up lodging. Hopefully, the idea is for you guys to be set up as a team and then work through these couple days of August 18th and 19th as a team together. And then everything that you guys do is just for each other to help out. And then at the end, I'm going to give myself and Haney are going to give you guys personal feedback on weak areas and things that we think you should improve on in order to get your either mindset or technique or whatever right, so that you're as prepared as possible for Indoc. And if you're doing TACP or CCT, all the stuff is going to be as applicable as Indoc. You're going to be doing all the water stuff, especially now that the courses hopefully are going to combine in a year or so or whatever. So you can expect mostly the same exercise and definitely the same mindset to be applicable to all the courses. So do you have any parting words before I let you off? After I'm done with Mike, I'm just going to get a little bit more like personal. I want to talk to you guys about some of the stuff that's been going on with me. So do you have anything else for the rest of the people?
No, I think we pretty much covered it all. I would just say when you're training, make sure that you're holding yourself accountable. I mean, especially if nobody else is around, don't sell yourself short just because you're tired and you're hurting. Like that's when you make your biggest gains. So just keep pushing, keep an aggressive mindset, stay competitive, and have fun, Indoc.
All right. Thanks, Mike. I don't know if you could just keep your camera on. I don't know how this whole thing works or if it's going to shut. If it's going to shut off as soon as I like disconnect you or whatever. We're still working out the bugs. All right, so we'll figure this stuff out later on. But so I'm going to close him out. Thanks again, Mike. I'll look forward to working with you on the event. We're going to be setting up a lot of stuff, getting all the training aids and all the other stuff in order. So hopefully I can have him on here again just as a quick update to what we've been doing. But I appreciate your time. And again, that's his Snapchat name. If you guys have questions for him, go ahead and ask him questions about whatever you want to ask him questions about. Well, not whatever, but business type of related, Indoc type of related stuff. And
or if you just have questions about life in general.
All right. There, he said it. Life in general. He is kind of out of the military now, so he has a little bit of time. But thanks again, Mike.
All right. Grab me on.
Soon. All right. Later.
Bye.
All right. So, again, Mike, awesome. Worked with him for a long time. Has a lot of knowledge, and I'm really excited that I was able to have him for not only this video, but for the event later on in the year. So hopefully you guys got a lot of stuff out of him. He definitely has a lot of experience, a lot of deployments, and a lot of knowledge just to share with everybody. So other things that I want to talk to you guys about. So I said I was going to get a little bit personal with you guys. So one of the reasons why I haven't really been on here for a little bit is because I've had a couple medical stuff going on, and I think it's something that I didn't really expect to happen, something that, it's just, I don't know what really caused it, but, it ended up that I had to go to the hospital for it. So I have hyperthyroidism. So I've been dealing with that for a little while now, and it is definitely a little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be to deal with. When you hear stuff about medical problems that people have, and it's whatever, you don't feel that kind of stuff and you don't feel what they're feeling. So just going through a medical type of thing, I've always been like an in shape person. I haven't ate like crap or anything like that, but medical stuff just kind of happens, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I just want to let you guys know that. And if you guys have the opportunity or you know somebody that is going through this kind of stuff, I can tell you firsthand that hyperthyroidism sucks a lot, and it's more difficult than it sounds. It's not just hormones or whatever. It's crappy. So if you have somebody that that's going through that kind of stuff, just let them know that you're there for them, you're thinking of them, that kind of stuff. I'll be all right, though. it's just another thing that we gotta deal with. Nobody's invincible, including me, as much as obviously I like to think that I am. So, just something that I want to share with you guys because everyone talks about how strong they are in every single event, and like you think that people to some point, like especially on YouTube, maybe they're infallible or they can't be hurt because whatever. Because you might have this idea in your head, but everybody is human and everybody can be, affected by medical stuff, car accidents, whatever happens. So just watch people to your left and your right and make sure that they're doing all right. Let's see. So other stuff I wanted to cover. If you guys are just seeing this on Facebook or you guys are seeing this wherever else you're seeing this, YouTube, go ahead and check out my Instagram. I have a bunch of quotes and things that I think will, as far as mindset, help you at Indoc and actually for like general life. So go ahead and check that out. And my website, I have all the grad standards on there. I have the past standards. I have just all the knowledge that I think is applicable for you guys that are trying to get into Indoc. Just everything that I could put on there, I put on there. And thanks to my wife also for making everything look awesome because without her, everything would look not so awesome. Because I'm not really great at doing website design or any of that kind of stuff. She makes everything look amazing and really is the person that makes everything run as streamlined as possible. So thanks a lot to her for putting in the work and helping out. Sorry, let me get something to drink here. The website is beapj.com. All right. So I think this is pretty productive. If you guys, leave comments on the YouTube or whatever, if you guys have any suggestions on things that you want to see for next time, or if you like this format better than the other format on Instagram, or just suggestions in general, I want to make this as user-friendly for you guys as possible so that you can get as much information from the website and from the people that I bring on here as possible. So let me know if you guys have suggestions, and you can always email me later on if you have other questions that come to your mind, and I'll be here. So thanks again for all of you guys for tuning in, and I hope to talk to you guys soon. Take it easy.